think that what really makes the legislative, like, first and foremost, our Constitution, Article 1, is the longest because it talks about this legislative branch because it's so big and it's comprised of so many people, and there's so many checks and balances and things that they have. And honestly, they have more power than the president does because everything has to go through them. And everyone goes to the presidential election, but no one knows about our legislative elections, which carry more weight because those are the people that we go to get laws passed and to talk to about things. And the president, he's there, he or she someday is there, and they're kind of there to help things run smoothly and to help if we get in some kind of dilemma. But usually the legislative branch is what helps us make laws, and they're the people that allow us to have those laws and exercise those rights.
Totally. To build off that a little bit, for an analogy, the president is similar to a CEO of a company. The legislative branch is perhaps all of the different business units in the company. Everybody thinks of the CEO because they're the fantastic figurehead that makes amazing speeches and makes the decisions, but really, the people that make the trains run on time are the members of the legislative branch. So as a result, that's why it's so important that we show up for the midterms and elect people that we care about into the legislative branch.
Yeah, the legislative branch is pretty much like the big part of the whole government machine because the founding fathers could have easily just had one person making all the decisions in our country, but it's not like that. We have to have a full amount of people to be able to make these decisions, and thus, like, in a way, everyone can be happy with them because we elect our representatives, the people who go to Washington and decide stuff for us. Because, like, it's the type of people we choose, and it's very important to have a legislative branch.
And if we weren't a republic, we wouldn't have that. A republic means that you have someone that represents you. And so, with that, if we didn't have our legislative branch, we wouldn't be a republic because we wouldn't have anyone representing us. But we do, and I always like to think of, I know Kevin gave us a good analogy, I always like to think of a cupcake. Like, the legislative is the cake, and the executive is the icing, and the judicial branch is like the little sprinkles on top. And so, the cake is the part that, the biggest part is like that much, or some people have like that much icing, but I mean, the legislative branch is the cake. It's the part that we bite into and we taste the most. Like I said, unless you have like this much icing, but yeah, that's the analogy I always like to use.
Yeah, and without our Constitution, we could easily have turned into another country with a king whose word would be final and wouldn't have to go through any channels to get laws passed or declare declarations. So the Constitution makes our government rely on many different parties and many different people to pass forth these laws and bills and make sure that no one person can, completely change our country without we the people, having some say in it.
Yeah, I think paying attention to the legislative branch in general is like a really good idea because I didn't even know like the midterm election thing even existed before like yesterday, and like I probably would have never known. So like, we always think of it like the president. Yeah, that's the president. He makes every single decision, but really it goes through like all of these branches and stuff, and legislative branch is one of the most important ones.